All right, let's talk about the keys to your digital kingdom. In any company, there's this tangled web of who can get into what. And honestly, trying to untangle it, it's one of the absolute biggest challenges in security today. So let's just dive right in and see how big this problem really is.
Okay, I want to start with a number that should really make you sit up and pay attention. 9 out of 10. Yeah, according to Verizon's Big Data Breach Report, 9 out of 10 cybersecurity breaches have to do with identity. Think about that. It's not some super hacker smashing through firewalls. Nope, it's someone walking right in the front door, using keys that look totally legit but were stolen or compromised.
And when they do get in, the cost is just staggering. We're talking about a global average of $4.45 million for a single data breach. This isn't just some tech headache for the IT department anymore. This is a massive board-level financial risk. So, at the end of the day, figuring out who has access, well, that's literally a multi-million-dollar question. So all of this leads to a really fundamental question. It sounds simple, right? But at any complex organization, it's so hard to answer. Who really has access to what? How'd they get those permissions in the first place? And maybe most importantly, do they still need them? I'm telling you, this is the kind of stuff that keeps security pros staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m.
And why is it so hard to answer? Well, because we're not just dealing with a simple list. We're dealing with a genuine labyrinth of permissions. It's this crazy maze, and it all boils down to a really critical difference. It's not just about knowing who you are, but what you're actually allowed to do.
And that's the real kicker right there. See, on one side you have identity. That's just authentication, proving you are who you say you are. And honestly, we're pretty good at that part. But then there's authorization. That's all about what you can do once you're in the door. And that's the messy, complicated, and frankly, often invisible part, where all the real danger is hiding.
Oh man, if you've ever worked in IT or security, I bet this list looks painfully familiar. These are the headaches you live with every single day, right? Trying to do an access review when you know the data is a mess, staring at some report that's basically gibberish, and just that constant nagging feeling in the pit of your stomach that you're one click away from a huge problem. It's exhausting.
What if, instead of buying another tool, you could give your company a health check, like a real diagnosis of your digital access to find the problems before they turn into a catastrophe? And this is exactly what that kind of diagnostic looks like. It's a short, super focused engagement. We're talking about a data-driven assessment that pops the hood on all your permissions, finds those risks you didn't even know you had, and then hands you a clear, actionable roadmap to get things sorted. I love this metaphor because it's just so perfect. I mean, you wouldn't wait for a heart attack to go see a doctor, right? You go for a checkup. It's the exact same idea, but for your access rights. Think of it as preventative care for your company's digital health.
And look, this isn't some vague, open-ended consulting project that drags on for months. No way. It's a really clear, structured, 4-step process, and the whole thing is designed to give you the most insight possible with the absolute minimum disruption to your team.
And what I really like here is just how simple the process is. Look at it. Phase 1, you just get together and align on the goals. Phase 2, you import the data, the raw entitlement stuff from your systems. Phase 3 is where the magic happens. The analysis, the simulations, finding all the risks. And then Phase 4, the final presentation, where you get the key findings and a roadmap that actually makes sense.
Now this is the part that's going to make any busy IT leader breathe a sigh of relief. What's your time investment? It's minimal. Seriously. We're talking a few hours for the kickoff and a few hours for the final workshop. That's it. All the heavy lifting, all the number crunching, that's done for you.
But what's the real power here? It's how this whole thing takes that data chaos we were talking about earlier and turns it into something you can actually see and do something about.
It's one thing to get handed a spreadsheet with 10,000 rows of permissions. Your eyes just glaze over. But it is a totally different experience to see all that data visualized, laid out like a map. That's where you get those aha moments, where things finally click.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's what an IAM specialist had to say. They point directly to the power of visualization. It was the key for them. It really is true. Seeing is believing, or in this case, seeing is understanding.
So, what do you actually walk away with? What's in the box? Well, you get this amazing visualization. They call it the identity grid that makes all the weird stuff, the outliers, just pop right out. You get a full analysis of your data quality, like a report card. You get a simulation of what an optimized role model could actually look like for you.
And maybe the most important part, a clear, prioritized list of next steps. No guesswork.
This chart right here shows you the payoff in a nutshell. On the left, that's probably where a lot of us are today. The current state, kind of chaotic, lots of manual one-off permissions. On the right, that's the goal. That's the potential state after you do this. The idea is to get 60 to 80% of all access covered by roles. Just think what that means. Faster onboarding for new hires, way easier access reviews, and just a massive drop in your overall risk.
Okay, this is pretty cool. It's a matrix based on anonymized data from other companies. And what it does is it lets you kind of find yourself on the chart. Based on how complex your data is and how much you could benefit from roles, where do you land? Are you an IAM novice just getting started? Or maybe a data cleanser buried in messy data? Or are you a power user dealing with massive complexity? It's a great way to see where you are and, honestly, to realize you're definitely not alone.
So at the end of the day, this health check thing isn't just about getting a one-time report. It's really about taking that first deliberate step. It's about deciding to build an actual access strategy instead of just letting one grow by accident, like a weed in the garden.
Because the insights you get from this, they become the foundation for everything else you do. It's how you finally move out of that constant, reactive firefighting mode and into a proactive, strategic way of thinking about identity and access.
In that journey, it follows a pretty logical path. You start here with the health check just to get your bearings and find some clarity. Then, you use what you learn to build a solid role model and clean up your data. That's your foundation. After that, you can start to optimize and automate. And the holy grail, the ultimate goal, to get to a point where you can empower the business to manage a lot of this themselves, but within a safe, secure framework you've built.
And the long-term payoff is huge. Just look at this quote from another manager. Once that foundation is in place, the time you spend on just managing roles day-to-day plummets. And all that time you get back, you could finally use it for more important, strategic projects.
So that brings us to the final question, and it's one I really want you to think about for your own organization. When you look at how people get access to things, do you see a system that was built on purpose with a real strategy? Or do you see something that just kind of grew over time, by accident? The way you answer that question tells you pretty much everything you need to know about the risk you're facing right now. Thanks for tuning in.